What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your lovely co-host ZD in the building with my lovely co-host CJ. We coming at you guys live, man. It's a Wednesday. Today's January 28th. Got a big docket for you guys. Giannis asked out today, CJ.
He did.
Hey, the shot. Hey, it broke, bro. So we gotta speak to the people about that. Also, the Cavs have been cooking. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. Got our Mount Rushmores. We've done centers, power forwards. We on small forwards now, and we got to go through the games, man. Thunder Laker analysis, the game previews, all that good stuff, man. But welcome back for the tried and true listeners, and if you're new here, welcome to Three Man Weave. CJ, how are you feeling, bro? How are you doing today?
Feeling good, bro. We chopped it up a little bit before we started, but today was essentially my Monday because being
Yeah,
frozen in and the weather was pretty bad, so didn't work these past couple of days. So had to get back into the flow of things, and I feel like doing 3-man weave is always a good way. We did it earlier this week
W.
on Monday, and then doing it today on Wednesday. I feel like just starts my my week off right. So ready to chop it up with you, bro. There's a lot of games that happened yesterday, and
Oh yeah,
it's just been good hoops, bro. I feel like this is like the NBA's time, up until the Super Bowl,
yeah, you're
which is
saying
in a
that.
week, and feel like
Yeah,
just kind of leading up to the summertime. This is when people are trying to watch hoops. So I feel like this is a lot of teams can prove some stuff to us, especially after this All Star
yeah, bro.
break. I feel like that's kind of where we're
Yeah,
looking forward to. But I'm ready, bro. I'm excited and just ready to get into the playoffs, bro. That's kind of where I've been these really the past couple months. It's just getting to that
hell
point. It
yeah,
sucks, but
hell
so
yeah.
it's always good hoops. It's just kind of like the season does start to drag on at a certain point, and
Oh, no doubt.
it definitely sucks. But I'm excited, bro.
Yeah,
Always
bro.
good chopping it up with you, and
Of
seeing
course,
how
I
you
appreciate
been,
your
and
time.
you already know, brother.
Yeah, dude, and I think for like the people listening, right? It's like we're almost at All-Star break. I think all of our teams, because we spoke about it last pod, which actually dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys go listen to that.
Go,
But
go, yeah, yeah. Just
spoke
dropped
about that
today.
last pod. Just dropped today, man. But yeah, man, like the tired legs, kind of like going back to
Yeah.
that story. I think a lot of guys are playing tired. I think the Spurs are 8-8 over their last 16 games. They're pretty tired as well.
Yeah.
Thunder are right there though, bro. You guys will be fine. Still the first seed in the West, and Lakers too, right? We're chugging along. We're doing what we can. Luka Doncic looked great
Yep.
the other night. I think, I'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll probably just go into our storylines. We had some storylines of the week earlier, but I think we'll just break the news to you guys, man. Giannis officially asked out today. I think Shams broke
Long
the report,
overdue.
and yeah, long overdue. You and I have been speaking about it on this very podcast, and we spoke about the injury that happened to him and how that impacts the Bucks and what that looks like. You've
Mm-hmm.
already spoken to that future and what they can do in terms of making a trade and things like that. But what were your thoughts behind him finally just being like, all right, you can break the news. I don't really care. Like
Yeah.
today, I guess.
I think it's just kind of like about time. That's kind of how I felt. I feel like it's he
Facts.
said that he didn't want to be the one to say that he wants to be traded from the roster, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's something we don't think about as well as being the analyst of the sport and just kind of watching it for what it is. Like, you build up a relationship with the community and the city that drafted you. So I think it was just a respect thing for Giannis because they actually took a chance on him when no one else really believed in
Mm,
him and didn't expect him to be what he's done now in his career. We said it, top 4 power forward of all time in our opinion. So I think it's one of those
for sure.
things where it sucks because I feel like they didn't want that to happen. Giannis didn't want it to be, oh, like I just want to get out. But I feel like for him, for
Yeah.
where he's at in his career, kind of his injury history within the past couple of seasons, I think it's kind of
Hmm.
just time for them to move on, bro. And it's not a
Yeah,
bad
bro.
thing. And I think that's you got to look at it like that as well. If you're a fan, it's I think he brought a championship to y'all. He made Milwaukee a contender since he's been, in the MVP conversation. And I think that gets overlooked, especially for, a team that isn't successful. The last time that they made it was, I think the 99, 2000, and when they lost against like the 76ers for them to go against like the Lakers and whatnot. So
Lakers,
it's
yeah,
been a long
yeah,
time. You don't really get to see
for sure.
competitive basketball, but we've been talking, like you just brought it up a couple minutes ago, bro. We've been talking about this since the beginning of the
For a
season.
month,
Really,
yeah.
really, even in like their season
Preview, like the off-season
off
files.
season files.
Yeah,
So we've been talking
yeah,
about
dude.
it. I think it's just I'm not surprised. I think it's just kind of just a relief off of like I guess their shoulders. I would say Giannis doesn't have to constantly get the questions of are you gonna leave? Do you want to get out of here? Blah blah
Right.
blah blah blah. And then obviously the ownership for Milwaukee doesn't have to always get those questions. So I think now that it's out in
Yeah,
the
dude.
air, moves were probably already being made behind closed doors anyways, but
Of
now we'll
course,
see what it really looks like. I mean, I think pretty sure we talked about it last time.
we did.
Does this change? Do you think that they're going to actually pull through with a trade by this deadline, or do you think it's still going to be a
It's a good
trade in the
question.
summer that you think they're going to have to
Hey,
plan a little
so
further ahead?
hey, that's how perfect alley oop, bro. Because I was watching the game yesterday. Right, they were playing the Sixers. No Giannis. Hey, Bucks fans here, listen up, okay, bro. Ryan Rollins is somebody I told you on this podcast. I think they're starting to realize they don't need this cat.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you,
Yeah,
and they're just like,
it's
we'll use Miles Turner's contract. We'll
mhm.
take Ryan Rollins and KPJ
Yep.
and AJ Green, Bobby Portis, guys who play
Gary
extremely
Trent.
hard and
Yep.
aren't selfish.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll take those guys, and we're gonna trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, to answer your question, hell yeah, I think it gets done before the deadline. They don't want this cat there,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna send ripples through the league. And I know you're waiting on the alert,
Yep.
but whenever that happens, we'll figure it out. I don't even necessarily want you to say a team you think it'll happen,
Yeah.
but whichever. If he goes to the West, it'll change the West. If he
Yep.
stays in the East, it'll change the East. I think it's just going to send shockwaves through the league. But yeah, I do think it'll happen before the deadline because now he's put it out there.
He's put it. Yeah, I think that
Right?
was
Giannis,
the main
that was the
thing.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if he didn't feel comfortable with this being, public information, it wouldn't have broke. He knows Sean's personally. Like, I'm sure Sean's probably reached out to him and was like, "Is this true?"
Mm-hmm.
Giannis is probably like, "Yeah, bro."
Yeah.
So like, I think he's now at a crossing roads in his career, not just with the Bucks, but in his career because of his injuries. You brought that up earlier, but I want to harp on that. Giannis has gotten hurt. I think more. He's gotten hurt more over the last 2 years than he got hurt the 8 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows why that is? Over the course of a decade, your body takes a beating. Giannis is taking a beating, bro.
Yep.
One of the only players in NBA history to score 50 in a finals game, a finals MVP, obviously an NBA champion. Like he's done it all.
At all, yeah.
And another thing is, bro, he don't got anybody left that was there.
Yeah,
He don't got nothing, bro. He don't care about those. Like he cares about cats and like he wants to see him do good, but they're not Drew Holiday. He's gone. Lillard's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you don't got your boys there, bro. It's not, Brooke Lopez is gone. Like they're not gonna let you, they're just gonna tell you, oh yeah, we gotta do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no input from Giannis, bro. So I don't think he feels any ways about it. He brought them a championship, and me and you both know he's a top 5 player in the league. And if you can get that, it's kind of like the Luka trade. And I honestly think the Luka trade has helped us set our grounds in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because now you're not, whenever you do see that news break, you're not going to be like, oh my God. I mean, one, we've been talking about it for months, but two, this happens now. Like star players get traded, they get frustrated, they leave. Things change in the franchise. And I heard some rumblings from Jay Crowder. He had tweeted something. We should have never fired Adrian Griffin. Mm-hmm. We were 30-13 and they fired him. Because, whatever, like the people, Giannis, whoever didn't like him anymore. Damian Lillard didn't like him anymore. Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting, bro. Like Doc probably does have a job because of Giannis, right? And I think his job is in jeopardy. And but it's no slight to the Bucks roster. I honestly think they might be better off without him. As crazy as that is to say, and you guys may not hear that on another basketball pod, but I think looking at their team last night, because I watched it, they lost, but they still played a hell of an offensive game. Mm-hmm. No Giannis. I just really like what I'm seeing from the Bucks without him. So like I don't even blame him. And honestly, it's a cancer. I think he's been walking around with his head down, talking to the media, Like guys don't even like that, man. It's kind of like just show up and work and be here, or if not, go. You know,
Mhm.
kind of like we always talk about that, but it's like if you don't care, bro, you can always go. None of us really care,
Yeah.
but don't make it harder for us to eat. And I
Yeah.
think some of his Carlos texted in our opinionated media chat today, but it was like, oh, him going to San Giannis is very selfish. It needs
Yeah.
to be about him. Like he not gonna take no back seat to anybody, bro. Like he's Giannis, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think Bucks ownership is realizing that. So is Doc Rivers because they've even had some like some flare ups during the game where I'm like, damn, bro, I've never really seen that. But I think Giannis is just frustrated with the way things are going. And to cap it all off, I do think a deal will be made before the deadline because you got to kind of solve that before it gets
Before
worse.
it
And I
gets
think
too
he's hurt
much.
only value's only dropping
Yeah.
before the summer because he's not playing. He's not going to be in the All Star game. He's hurt, you know, and it's like there's a team out there that's going to take that bite. So that's an
Where
interesting tidbit, CJ, for sure.
where do you think he's gonna go, bro? Like realistically, like because he said he wanted to go to a big market, right?
Warriors, yeah, I think Warriors, Knicks, not my Lakers. So Lakers fan, sorry, we got Luca. Like basically, Giannis needs to be the best
Yeah, he
there.
needs to be
So
the
like if he went
guy.
to the Knicks, he's better than Brunson.
He's better than
You know,
Brunson
so
for
like,
sure.
and that's just a fact. Like, it's no slight
Warriors,
to Brunson.
Warriors, he'd be better
Warriors,
than Steph or what?
yeah, he'll be better. He will be better than Steph, but it would be hard for them to realize that because of what Steph has brought. But
Right,
let's look at the facts, right? Like
right.
you're taking a younger Giannis over Steph.
And I was about to say, I
I
think
think
the
nobody
thing with Giannis too, it's like when he goes to a team, they have to change. It's kind of like a Luca, a LeBron, a Harden. You know, they
right. They got to
take so
change their
yeah, they
whole
got to
style.
change their whole play style to change, like to compensate for the stars. So I feel like that's another thing with Giannis. Like, of course, he's Giannis. We know what he can be, but top 5 player in the world, like you said. But you have
I
to
saw
change
him for
up your roster
Cleveland
so
too.
much. Cleveland,
They said Mobley, some of their picks that they have, but the thing is like I don't know how you make that money work because their assets are frozen.
yeah.
The second apron makes it impossible to really work with. But I did think a Mobley for Antetokounmpo was interesting. I might bite at that if I'm the Bucks.
Hmm.
Even if I would figure out a way to make the money work because I think like Mobley on that team were better because he doesn't need the ball
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And he's also going to be, defensive minded. I thought that was interesting. I did see that on Twitter, but I don't think they can make the money work.
Yeah.
So I kind
Interesting.
of
Yeah.
I figured
I'm
out.
I'm curious now because Giannis is, you know, one of those guys, one of those players that you probably would never have thought to get traded in the season. So we're gonna get something shaken up. So we'll see, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
it is interesting, and it was like we said, man. The news broke today, so we had to chop it up about that for a sec. But let's transition. Stay in the East. We were just talking about them, the Cavs, though, man. I think they're what 7-3 over the last 10. We spoke about it on Monday, bro. I saw the game in Orlando.
Mhm.
Donnie Mitchell, another 45-point performance.
He's looking
I
incredible,
did
bro.
want to. What, CJ? Man,
Incredible.
I told you before we started recording, man. Probably second team All NBA, even in this disaster that the Cavs season has been. And I don't want to say it's been a disaster, Cavs corner. For injuries, it has been.
Yep.
Right, you got Struce out, Merrill's constantly been out, and Garland. You spoke about that last time, but
Yep.
DG is nowhere to be found for a year. Since I think something happened with his eye a year ago, and he just hasn't.
Yeah.
It was the eye and jaw because he couldn't eat for those 6 weeks, and then his eye was like I've never seen that. I honestly thought he was going to lose his vision,
Yeah.
but he's still. I mean, we know DG from high school, like Vanderbilt,
Yep.
one and done. Obviously, one of the better guards in this league when healthy, but Donovan Mitchell has just been that dude over these last 10. I think, Mobley even stuffed the stat sheet. I know he's hurt right now, but against Sacramento, I think he had like 29, 13, and 7 assists with 4 blocks. The Cavaliers are playing good basketball, and
Yeah.
it's funny because I wanted to talk about the Eastern Conference, like the landscape and its totality. You brought up the Sixers as well, right?
Mhm.
But some of these Eastern Conference teams are starting to make a little bit of a run. What do you think about that, man? Like where, Toronto's going to fall, the Sixers, the Cavs, teams kind of in the middle
Yep.
behind Detroit
Mhm.
and really New York. How do you feel about the middle of the pack for the East right now?
I feel like that's where we talked about them being top heavy and these past couple seasons they had been with Boston, and obviously the run that the Pacers went on last year was incredible, but the Cavs as
Oh
well,
man.
like, the
Oh
kind of
man.
top heavy, having
60 wins.
60 wins and this and that. But I feel like the middle of the pack right now for the East, especially just because of the state of what the conference is in at this point, it just makes it a little more interesting. You know what I mean? Like teams
Yeah.
that we usually don't see, like Pistons obviously being the best team in the East, but now you're kind of getting the Toronto Raptors. You're getting the
The
Bucks
Celtics.
who've kind of always been around, but not really with Giannis. And you're getting the Celtics, like you said, and Miami is kind of still lingering around, being the fastest pace in the league. So it's interesting. So
Yeah.
like I think this is probably the I want to. It's weird to say because heading into the season, I wouldn't have imagined me saying this, but feel like this is probably the best of the Eastern Conference, the state it's been in a while. It's a lot of parity. We're trying to, a lot of young teams kind of proving themselves. We don't really
Good
know
take.
who's going to be able to take over the Eastern Conference. Like we know the Pistons are great, but can they do it in the playoffs? The Sixers are starting to get healthy when Joel Embiid and
Yeah.
Paul George are actually kind of playing good basketball. Tyrese Maxey playing all NBA level. VJ Edgecombe, and then you have the Celtics who have stuck around this whole year. Jaylen Brown is a all NBA first team player as well, and what he's been able to be efficient two-way player. So it's
Oh
a
my
lot of
goodness.
storylines. You know what I mean? So
So
it's
good.
it's interesting, and the Charlotte Hornets kind of getting
Oh
everything
my goodness.
clicking. The young
You're
team on the
right.
come up, and the
And the
Magic
Wizards trade.
Wizards
Yeah.
getting Trey Young. So it's a dope.
Yeah.
It gets me excited because I feel like coming into this year, I didn't expect it to be this eventful. I mean, it kind of makes sense that it would be because there is an opportunity for teams that we've never seen in the playoffs or aren't
Hmm.
usually in the playoff competing for a playoff spot. But no, yeah, dude, it's incredible. I'm having fun watching it and
Yeah.
just seeing a lot of the young teams kind of battle their way up. But now that we're seeing the Cavs do good, the Knicks have kind of fallen off and kind of been like inconsistent all year. So what is that going to
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like? Hawks have been decent. Jalen Johnson's looking great, but now it's like, Trey Young, would he really help with them? Now they're not playing good
Yeah.
defense,
Right.
even when he's not on the team. So there's so much things, so many storylines, bro. I think it's a great spot for the Eastern Conference to be in, and it makes it more interesting for those middle of the pack teams, seeing who's going to be able to get a home court advantage in the playoffs. Because the Raptors could get that this year, or the
Right.
the Hawks if they play their
Hmm.
cards right. So it's interesting. I'm excited to see what that looks like in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
And I wanted to add like the plan, like you brought up Hornets. Some of these teams that just haven't got an opportunity to be in the playoffs will have that this year
Mm-hmm.
because of how the and unfortunately, Pacers fans, we love you, but it's just not your year. I
Yeah,
saw the mock will do it soon, but Darren
Darren
Peterson could
Peterson.
be in
Yeah,
your future, right? Like
him and
you're not really
Tyrese
gonna lose
is
here, right? Yeah, like come on. But I think that's the one team that I'm like, man, like we're talking about the Eastern Conference right now. It's if you're a Pacers fan, like I feel like on three man, bro, we do a good job of like trying to hit the entire league.
yeah,
But like Pacers fans just don't have much to cheer about. But outside of those dudes, like I think, Wizards fans, Hornets fans, people who have been in purgatory. Even Chicago's playing extremely well right now.
yeah.
Barely lost to my Lakers, but they had a great offensive game, man. In the third quarter, I think they scored like 33, 35 points or something, and I don't really see the Bulls score that much, but they're clearly improving as a roster. So just to add a little more flavor to your point, I think it is really exciting that the Eastern Conference is in such a like healthy place. And,
Mm-hmm.
our teams being in the West, I think a lot of people when they get on three man, they're gonna think
Think,
Thunder, Lakers, and of course,
yep.
right, Western Conference, the perennial people that make it out, people that are like, man, these teams are obviously OD, they're OP teams, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like the Eastern Conference is so bunched together and it's so competitive, and so is the West. But I
Yeah.
think the East this year specifically has been interesting. So I think that's a good tidbit, bro. It's an interesting take, and like I said, bro, the Cavs have been playing a lot better, and it's the East is going to be the way that it shakes up. I couldn't tell you because I think it's just going to be kind of a crapshoot, where they would roll dice and just see where people land. So I think obviously Detroit will be that number one seed, and kind of everybody else will kind of backfill that. But I think, yeah, the seeding is going to be interesting. We're going to see how it plays out down the stretch of the year, and hopefully Chicago can start finding some more joy, start playing together, because they're starting to find their groove right now. So I think my team's playing them, and I think we're down
Yeah.
right now. I think
Yeah.
what's the score?
It's a final. 129-99.
Man, we got
30.
blown out, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the ESPN game too. My goodness, we embarrassed ourselves on national TV.
Yeah.
Man, did Luca do good?
I mean, 29, 5 and 6.
Okay,
LeBron,
I
11
guess.
points, 3 for 10. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we do have some NBA games today. We're going to talk about the previews. I think that's a perfect alley-oop.
Yeah.
First game of the day was Lakers and Cavs, and unfortunately 99 to 129. But the Lakers had listed Austin Reeves and Otto Thera as a game time decision, and the Cavs had listed Garland, Merrill, Travers, and DeAndre Hunter as a game time decision. So maybe did Garland play? Did DeAndre Hunter play?
Garland, nope. Hunter played.
Okay, Hunter played. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a great storyline for this. This was super dope. But Luka Doncic and Donovan Mitchell, I think, had both scored 45 plus points in their last game, right? Luka had the 46 versus Toronto, and Donovan had 45 versus Orlando. The Cavs were also on a 4-game winning streak, pushing it to 5. I think they defeated the Hornets, Orlando twice, and then Sacramento, and now LA. The Lakers, up until this point, had ranked third in offensive rating over their last 10 games, scoring 117.9 points per 100. And the Cavs ranked fourth in offensive rating over that same span, scoring 117.6 points per 100. So 129 points put up on our head. I don't know what to say to you guys other than the defense, the defense, the defense. I didn't watch any game, and I could tell you we probably gave up so many paint touches or threes, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm so done with that crap, bro, because it keeps happening, and this is the result. You run into a team who's playing well, 8-3 over the last 11 now, and you lose by 30. So what an embarrassing performance by the Lakers. I was totally thinking my team was going to show up and I was going to have a great game to watch, but now I don't think I will, which is unfortunate because this was the ESPN national TV one. So really, I was excited for this one. It happened at 6. It's 8:30 Central now, and yeah, I think I was just excited to see Luka and Donnie Mitchell play, get 4 quarters, but unfortunately, that did not happen.
Yeah.
Guess 129-99, right?
Yep.
Was the final.
129-99.
Well, there you guys go, man. I'm moving on from LA. All right, next game. This game was also at 6 p.m. Bulls versus Pacers. The Bulls had listed Trey Jones as a game time decision. Zach Collins and Noah Essengay both out. Noah Essengay is out for the season. So unfortunately, a Bulls rookie will not be playing this year. The Pacers are obviously without Tyrese Halliburton, and they're also without Obi Toppin. But some of the storylines for this one, man, over their last 10 games, the Bulls are second in the NBA in net rating. Wanted to touch on that for a second, man. They play really well in spurts. We've talked about the Bulls during the first month of the year, kind of getting out to the first seed in the East. We knew that was fluky, but we do know that they can play great ball. I know you've seen Kobe White, some of those dynasty games that he's put up, and just seeing them play against my team last game, it really proved to me how much they've grown as a franchise just in totality. Even guys like Jalen Smith, right, who are getting in the game and making an impact. And I think being second in offensive rating over your last 10 kind of speaks to that. They're scoring 119.8 points per 100. The Pacers rank 30th in the NBA in offensive rating, scoring 106.4 points per 100. We know, just talked about the Pacers 10 minutes ago, but we know kind of in struggle mode right now. They're just pushing along to that pick. Yeah, I got to look forward to the draft. But the Pacers are also 1-4 over the last 5 games and rank 14th in the East with an 11-36 record. Depending on how this game goes, could be 11-37, could be 12-36. So we will see. But the Bulls over the last 5 games are 4-1 and ranked 9th in the East so far with a 23-23 record. However, the Pacers are 2-0 versus the Bulls this season. And that's a key thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. We're starting to get into the repeat matchup, CJ. That's how you know we've been doing this for a little while. I've put it in the outline, but just to give CJ a little bit more background in myself. But yeah, Pacers obviously 2-0 versus the Bulls. I went back and watched some of the game highlights. Andrew Nembhard and Pascal Siakam. Like you said, Pascal could be an all-star if they were a little better this year.
Yep.
But my God, those guys are torching the Bulls. So We'll have to see.
Yep. Get into
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see, brother.
Who won?
The Pacers.
See, I told you.
They won by 3, 113 to 110.
3-0. 3-0 versus the Bulls. See, that matters, man. Matters.
That's a fourth of their wins have been against the Bulls.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Going into the next tip-off, though, 6:30 tip-off, we have the Hawks versus Celtics. We have the Hawks versus Celtics. And now Dorton fears engage. Sorry.
Did you lose it?
No, my video. There's a video that was playing randomly.
Playing?
Sorry about that. Hawks versus Celtics. The Hawks have listed Zachary Ricochet, Kristaps Porzingis, and Nafali Dante all as out, and the Boston Celtics have Neemias Queta and Jason Tatum is out. Some storylines for this game. Over their last 5 games, Atlanta ranks 16th in defensive rating, allowing 112.1 points per 100 possessions. And Boston ranks 12th in offensive rating, scoring 114.4 points per 100. In their last matchup on January 17th, the Celtics defeated the Hawks 132 to 106. Sam Hauser had 10 3-pointers made, and Jaylen Brown scored 41 points. The Hawks sit at 10th in the East with a 23-25 record, and Boston is second in the East with a record of 29-17. Bro, I think this is gonna be a good matchup, bro. The Hawks have been always.
Let me see,
bro. The Hawks just when they have their offense going, that's when they're an exciting team because their defense isn't the greatest. I think that's something that whenever Trae Young came back, I feel like people were blaming it on Trae Young, but it was something before Trae Young. It was already kind of,
they weren't good before.
Exactly. So, but I don't know. This is tough for me. The way that the Celtics have been playing, I really want to go Celtics, but the Hawks, Jalen Johnson can have one of these games where he gets 30, 10, and 12, like some Mike Career stuff, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker drops 35 or something, so wouldn't put it past them, but I'm leading the Celtics. They're home. They got, obviously, Jaylen Brown playing at an all-NBA level, and just the way, obviously the way that they've been playing the last 10 games kind of speaks for itself. Second best team in the East, and they've been kind of quietly dominating this whole season, so I think I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with the Celtics.
Bet. Yeah. I mean, I could never take the Celtics. I'm going to take the Hawks because it's the Celtics. But I didn't check the score. Man, the Hawks are winning. So
I was about to say they're winning.
I can't really take it there, right? So, yeah. But that's, I mean, whenever you get into these repeat matchups, it's like looking at pretty much the previous matchup that they last played is a good indicator of how the games are going to be played. And some teams just have it out for others,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the Hawks just are so young. The Celtics have a lot to prove this season. I think it's a good matchup for them. But going into the next matchup, we have the Magic versus the Heat. The Magic are without Franz Wagner and Colin Castleton. The Heat have listed Terry Rozier as out, of course. Tyler Hero and Davion Mitchell. I was going to say Donovan Mitchell. Fucking brain fart. Davion Mitchell and Khalil Ware are listed as game time decisions. Some storylines for this game. The Magic are 3-0 versus the Heat this season, but all 3 games have been within 9 points. The Magic ranked 20th in pace over their last 10 games, and the Heat still rank first over that same span. Miami is scoring 113 points per 100 possessions, 16th in the NBA, and Orlando are scoring 110.5 points per 100, 26th in the NBA. I feel like this is like obviously Florida got that rivalry going, Orlando, Miami, but it's
This is bad.
also it's a clash of two different playing styles. So it's always interesting seeing these
Mm-hmm.
games. You usually would kind of lean more towards what the Miami is, that they play faster, just a better offense. But the way that Orlando's been playing, they haven't been the best defensive team. We've been talking about that, but with the player like Paolo and Jalen Suggs is back in the lineup, I wouldn't be surprised they can. I've been talking highly of them. They're kind of like my second squad. They haven't been doing that great, but haven't had much to talk about with them. But like I said, Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Tristan De Silva, they have a lot of good young
Anthony Black.
guards that are kind of developing, and think it's a good sign for
Yeah,
them. I gotta rock with the Magic, bro. They're their
of
squad.
course. Me
Like I
too.
said, a clash of
Me
two
too.
playing styles. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, I think it's gonna be a lot more higher scoring because Magic are probably gonna play into the way the Heat play. It's kind of hard not to play into that play style, but if they'll be able to keep up with them, we shall see. But I gotta rock with them this game for sure.
Yeah, I like that, and I'm gonna rock with you on that. I think the Magic got this one. I just think Paolo has a good game tonight, so we'll see. I think he's had like a slower season. You guys can talk crap about him if you want, but I know he's still an all-star at heart. So I'm rocking with the Magic as well. I got you, CJ.
Mhm.
Going into the next matchup, though, I think this one was at 6:30. Knicks versus Raptors, another banger. The Knicks have no injured players listed, so they're healthy.
Yeah.
It's good for them. Toronto is without Jakob Poeltl, who hasn't played a lick this year, and Colin Murray Boyles was listed as a game time decision, so hopefully he ended up going. Some of the storylines for this one, man, over the last five, the Knicks rank fourth in the NBA in defensive rating, allowing just 108.1 points per 100. They've been guarding a lot better. I know Mike Brown needs that, especially like you said 30 minutes ago. They've had a tough stretch of the season, and I think for them to get back on their consistency train. They got to work on their defense. I think Mike Brown has been preaching that. So we've seen that over that same span, over the last five, Toronto ranks seventh in the NBA in offensive rating, scoring 115.3 points per 100. The Raptors are also 6-4 over their last 10 and ranked third in the East at 29-19. Who, we've spoken about Toronto and how it's starting to get a little windy in the north. We're the north. You
The
guys are starting to
North.
show up and show out. And Toronto don't get a ton of love down here, man. But we'll have to do a little segment for you guys. But I know you guys are balling out and quickly, especially Ingram and Scotty Barnes, right? Like those two
Mhm.
guys have been awesome. And I think Ingram's been a perfect fit. So it's really dope to see them at 29-19. The Knicks are just 4-6 over the last 10, however, and ranked fourth in the East. Obviously dropped a little bit. They're sitting at 27-18. So we've seen them take a step back from the NBA Cup. You've spoken about it. I've spoken about it. I think OG is the hero of that team this year. We know what Brunson was going to bring, but he's just been, I think, when they needed it most, he showed up, bro. So hopefully OG can get going in this one versus his former team. That's why I'm bringing that up. The season series is 2-0 Knicks, where they've defeated Toronto by an average win margin of 19.
Mm.
That's a really interesting note. They've pissed on the Raptors. I don't know if it's a matchup thing, which I think it is. Cat is so much for the Raptors. They just don't have a center who can stick with him. And
Mhm.
then Brunson. I think Brunson just operates at such a high level in the paint. He just forces the defense to collapse. OG's there now. McCall's there now. Josh Hart's there. It's like so hard to guard all those guys. So I'm going to go with the Knicks, even though they've been in a tougher spot. I just think the season series, it speaks to like the matchups of these teams, and that's why you brought it up. Like the play styles clashing. I think
Mhm.
it's a similar thing here. Just feel like the Knicks kind of have their number, and they're on the road. I think it's always cool when they're on the road, and I watch their home broadcast because it's Mike Breen,
Mhm.
so it's cool because they'll be on the road. They're not an MSG, and I don't know. I think there's going to be some juice behind NY tonight.
Yeah.
Who you got though?
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I have the Knicks being, my team to make it to the finals this season. Just the way that they've been playing lately, though, and the way that Toronto's been playing, they've been able to get a lot of good wins. Scotty Barnes is looking like all star, DPOY potential candidate. I think I gotta go with the Raptors, bro. That's kind of who I'm leaning with. They just look a lot better. They just play better basketball to me as of right now. I still think the Knicks are going to figure it out, but at this moment, I gotta rock with the Raptors, man. I know that
I
the
like that,
series
man. Yeah,
is
yeah,
is
yeah.
says otherwise, but I just think a lot of momentum, a lot of streakiness throughout the season. Toronto has been pretty streaky. We saw them go out to that great start. Now they're kind of, slowing down a little bit, but from how
Yeah,
the Knicks are playing, I think I still got to go with the Raptors, bro. They
nah,
just
for sure.
been playing a lot better basketball lately.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, no, going on to our next game though, is we have the 7 p.m. tip off. It's the Hornets and Grizzlies. This is the right one. The Grizzlies have listed Ty Jerome, John Morant, basically their entire team. Scottie Pippen Jr. and Edie is out.
Yep.
We spoke about that kind of on our last on Monday, right? They've had all those guys out. Morant could be traded. Lots of stuff going on with that. Jonathan Landale is listed as a game time decision. Wanted to bring something up about him. He's honestly been an X factor for them this entire year. He's been awesome, and I know I think he's hurt the Thunder at times. He's definitely hurt the Lakers. So the Hornets are without Mason Plumlee, who hasn't really touched the court, and I honestly forgot he was on the roster. So shout out Mason Plumlee. He's still a good hooper. He gets assists, bro. Like Mason Plumlee will do like little no looks and like grab rebounds and stuff. So shout out Mason Plumlee. But storylines for this one, man. This is the first matchup this season between the Grizzlies and the Hornets. The Hornets ranked 12th in the East with a 19-28 record, and the Grizzlies ranked 12th in the West with an 18-26 record. Over the last 10 games, the Grizzlies ranked 22nd in the NBA net rating with a minus 2.5, and the Hornets ranked first in the NBA net rating with a plus 13.7. Let me talk about that. We shouted you guys out last week, but like,
that's insane.
They're first in the NBA net rating with a plus 13.7. That's not coming out of my mouth the rest of the year. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that even came out of your mouth this year.
The Charlotte Hornets, like you had said, man, they are. I think you were like pretty high. Like you didn't think they would be like a playoff team, but you said they can make the play-in. Like,
yeah,
they don't have a bad roster.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
did. That was before Concanapo was playing out of his mind.
Yeah, that was just based off of what they had, them coming into this year healthy. I didn't know that the rookies were going to be performing like this, so yeah, no, that
honestly, I didn't think they would make the play-in, but they might make
the play-in, brother. This is their year too, so
shout out Charlotte, bro. I respect y'all. I like that. Trey Man, obviously, I know you have some ties there,
of
so
course.
Super dope to see y'all doing well. But first in the NBA and net rating over that span with a plus 13.7. Wow. Over Memphis and Charlotte's last two matchups, this is going back to last season. The Grizzlies have defeated Charlotte by an average win margin of 12 points. So they've kind of had their number in the last few matchups. They've beat them by more than 10 plus, which I would say is like a pretty easily winnable game. However, with the way the Hornets are playing right now, we just spoke about it for a minute or two. I'm taking the Hornets on the road. They're all healthy. Brandon Miller's in the lineup, and I think they're over 500 with him in the lineup this year. Mm-hmm. Give me the Hornets.
Yep. No, I agree. They're just same logic for the Raptors or the Knicks versus Raptors. Just a team that's playing better basketball. Grizzlies have been super inconsistent, haven't had their lineup. Jaws playing better than what he had been at the beginning of the season, but I still don't think that's enough. Cedric Howard's kind of cooled off. We haven't heard a lot from Jalen Wells and Gigi Jackson, these guys that we thought were going to take a leap. Just it doesn't seem like they have a lot going on, a lot of momentum. So I got to go with a team that's beating our teams the last time we played them, and kind of been the hottest team in the league, like ZD was just saying. So gotta rock with the Hornets. Shout out Khan, shout out Melo and LaMelo and B Miller. So little trio right there.
Yeah, dude, and they're like, again, that trio is like, that's such a good like A+ trio to have at this stage, and I also think like Coach Smith, we spoke about it a little bit too on the last one, but like he's done a really good job.
Yeah.
Being like, man, I got to control you. Like, all right, LaMelo, you're going to pull it from half court sometimes. All right, Concanapo, you have a green light, but like, how can I control this?
Right.
And like actually run offense and play good defense? Because I spoke about it when we did our storylines of the week last week, but it was their defense. I think they're like 9th in defensive rating.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is great, but we kind of knew they could get hot.
Yeah.
But like you're saying,
their
bro,
defense, I feel like that's what separates good teams from great teams, And they're, not saying that's where they're at yet, but, they're slowly starting to figure out their identity, figure out how to play good
Yeah.
team defense. They don't have
And
a player that's just
they
going to
caught the
lock down.
Thunder on a bad day, bro. They got lucky with that too. So I think a lot of teams saw that. We're like, oh shit,
I
the
think I
Hornets are
think
good.
we're underestimating. They're getting underestimated, so they're kind of thinking, the Hornets is an easy dub now, and they could torch you. They could light it up from the three and
Yeah.
play good enough defense to hold you to shoot less than what your average is, and that's all it takes for them because the way they've been playing offense, they're looking fantastic right now. So shout out to the Hornets, bro. We've been talking a lot about them a lot lately, so I'm glad that's Hornets are
It's
getting
been a
some love.
theme. Yeah. They're buzzing.
They're literally. Going into the next matchup, man, we got the T-Wolves versus Mavericks at 7:30. The T-Wolves are without Terrence Shannon Jr. and Anthony Edwards is listed as a game time decision. The
I think
Mavs,
he's gonna go.
I think he went. Yeah. The Mavs have listed Flag, Brandon Williams, Klay Thompson, and Max Christie as game time decisions. I think they're all out besides Max Christie. Brandon Williams, sorry. Klay Thompson.
Shout out Brando and Max Christie.
Yeah, facts.
They're going.
Klay Thompson, Flag, and obviously Kyrie and Derek Lively are listed as out.
Tanking.
Gotta be. Some storylines, bro. This is the second time the T-Wolves and the Mavs will face off. In their last matchup, the T-Wolves beat the Mavericks 120-96. The Mavs ranked 9th in the NBA in defense rating this season, allowing 112.4 points per 100 possession. The T-Wolves ranked 10th in the NBA in offense rating this season, scoring 116.2 points per 100 possession. Over their last 10 games, the Mavs are 6-4, and the T-Wolves are 4-6. ZD, you said it, brother. They have a lot of these injuries, key injuries. Flag out, Thompson's out, Davis is out, Lively, Kyrie. They've been playing well, honestly. But I think T-Wolves are gonna get them, bro. Julius Randle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Ant's going. There's gonna be a hard duo to have the Mavericks keep up with. Defensively, 100%. Like I said, they can hang with the best, but
make some noise,
offensively,
yeah.
I just don't think they have enough. Especially with Flag being out, he's been fantastic for them, and they're gonna have to have someone step up to the role, and I think that's a lot of big shoes to fill for the Mavericks. But going with the T-Wolves this game, bro. What about you?
I like that, and kind of to add to that, I think just for where these two teams are, right? I don't think the Mavericks are in a great spot per se with the roster. They're just not healthy. And the Timberwolves are one of the sleeping giants, man. Mm-hmm. They back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances. No reason why they couldn't do it again this year.
Yep.
And I think they've just been playing like Ant. You said it, bro. He looks. I think since he got snubbed. I mean, you said it a couple episodes ago, but just that I think has lit a fire under him a little bit. And he'll be at the game, guys.
He's going to be at the game. Yeah, without a doubt. I think it was just a starter spot, but
right. And I don't know how the minutes will work, and I don't know. I still need to do more research, honestly. I don't know if you're going to ask a question about the All-Star game, but I just don't know how they're going to do it. And if I were a coach for one of the three teams, I think I'm playing in the knockout rounds. I'm just going to play the best 5.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't have the time to be everybody's getting in.
Yeah.
Because we want to go to the championship, bro. Right?
Yeah. I agree.
You can play there, but I don't know how I wonder. I think
they're probably gonna have whoever gets drafted to a team play. They're gonna be able to play some minutes.
Yeah, of
you know
course,
what I mean. They're gonna be slotted, allotted already.
I just think when it matters, though, the people who are starting or who are actually good will be in.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm sure Ant will be in.
Yeah, he's going to be in there.
That's basically what yeah.
But you got the T-Wolves?
Sure. And I didn't even answer. Yeah, I think I got the T-Wolves.
Yes.
T-Wolves. Yeah, it's been where these two teams are at. Timberwolves just playing a lot better.
A lot better. Yeah, like you said, sleeping giant. They have a lot to prove. They're kind of just getting healthy away from really being competing in the Western Conference again. So going into another.
Bones, right? Bones Highland saved their season. Mm-hmm. They gotta figure out what they're doing with Rob, but
yeah,
that's
bro.
Another story.
It's a whole other, story. Dante, Nas, they've been, doing their thing. Bro.
I know, bro. They're doing their thing.
Going into the next Western Conference matchup, we got the Jazz versus Warriors at 8 8 p.m. tip-off. The Jazz are missing Georges Niang for like we've been saying his name all year long.
Consistent.
And Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Nurkic, and Kevin Love are listed as game time decisions. The Warriors have listed Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Al Horford, and DeAndre Melton as a game time decision as well. Storylines for this game. This is the third time the Warriors play the Jazz this season. Series is 2-0 Warriors. Golden State ranks 14th in the NBA in offense rating this season, scoring 114.6 points per 100 possessions. The Jazz rank 30th in the NBA in defensive rating this season, allowing 122.5 points per 100. And their last matchup between these two, the Warriors won 123-114 behind 31 points from Steph Curry. Man, I mean, we just said it. Jazz being the worst team, the Hornets being kind of middle of the pack offensively.
I was listening to Locked On Jazz, dude, the other day, just to see.
Yeah.
The first thing I hear out of the guy's mouth, I forget the host's name, so I'm so sorry, bro. I'll make sure to shout you out next time. But bro goes 30th in the NBA in defensive rating.
What more could you say to that,
There it is, bro. That's been their problem, and you were just going to get into it. Yeah. But if they can't guard, they can't play.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen and Keontae have been awesome, and so, yeah, it sucks to see that get wasted because of poor defense.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah.
And like you're saying, even the Warriors are tanking, bro. The Warriors aren't even going to have – I don't even know – did Curry go? Because I think it's 30. Can you see?
Curry went.
Because if they tanked out – okay, so the Warriors were probably going to win because Curry's in the lineup.
Yeah.
However – kind of to steal your point a little bit away. I just think the Jazz have so much work they have to do on the defensive end before we seriously talk about them as a play-in team.
Yep, I agree. I think it's offensively they're nice,
so
they're
bad
incredible,
on defense.
But defensively they're
it's horrible,
tragic. It's terrible, but at least they have their identity. They can kind of build off of it, and they have
good individual defenders.
They have good
no
players.
Kessler, right? No Kessler. I think he's and I think even Cody Williams, right? Sensabaugh had a 40-point performance the other night. Right? I see y'all, Utah. We know what's going on with
Walter
you guys,
Clayton's
man. But
been
I
balling
think,
too.
Oh, I haven't. Man, I have him on my dynasty team, and I'm so glad because he had that punch out on Derek White, which will probably be a top 10 this year. But just like you said, seeing his growth, I think a lot of people thought that tournament Walter Clayton would never show in the NBA, and Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton look to be A+ picks, for their core going forward. So I like what they're doing, just not on the defensive end.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna take the Warriors.
Yeah.
They played way better.
Yeah.
I think they were also top 10 in net rating too over the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Even with the injuries.
If they have Steph, then I'm going with Warriors. If not, then it would be a little more interesting of a game. But Steph went, so I'm going Warriors.
Yeah, and they're at home, no?
They're home. Or no, sorry, they're away.
Ooh.
They're in Utah.
Okay.
So
yeah, we'll see.
Center.
That altitude can get to you.
Yeah, bro.
And yeah, but this is the last one. This is the nightcap. This is probably the game of the night for me, at least. Do you think it's the game of the day for you?
Yeah, I agree.
8:30 p.m. tip-off, Spurs Rockets. Okay, Spurs don't have any injured players listed. The Rockets are now without Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet for the season. Steven Adams is out for the year, which is, how do you feel about that? Offensive rebounding probably goes down 10%.
Oh,
right?
100%. I mean, I feel like that was their strong suit. That's what they excelled at.
Literally.
It was their offensive rebounds.
Offense was so good.
Yeah, so
second chance points.
We'll see what that
number
looks
one
like.
in second chance points. And now they probably won't be.
Yep.
So we'll see how that's interesting. But storylines, bro, Spurs and Rockets have split their season series so far, 1-1, of course, right? Over the last 10 games, the Spurs rank 8th in the NBA in total net rating with plus 4.7. The Spurs have been a lot better on defense. Their offense has not been good, but their defense has gotten picked back up kind of to where they were at with the Thunder level. I think going back to that point in time, bro, I think we all overreacted a little bit to how the Spurs really are. But they're here. You know, they're going to be competing.
Yep.
So we got to show them some respect. But I think that was a little blown out of proportion. But we'll see. I think where they're at right now is kind of where they'll stay. The Rockets rank 17th in the NBA net rating with a minus 1.0 right now. So they've been struggling a little bit over their last 10 games. Houston, we have a problem. you guys got to start showing up on the defensive end. I think offensively, Kevin Durant, Reed Shepherd, Tari Eason at times, and of course, Alp has been dragging you. You know, Ime Udoka's gotten by with poor defense, and I've seen him call timeouts even at times. The transition defense has been really bad over the last 5. They're like 26th over the last 5 in transition defense.
Yikes.
They give up so many fast break points for some reason.
Yeah, which you
They
would
just like don't get back.
Yeah, you would
I
think
don't know why.
they would be able to lock that down, you know?
It's like on
Long,
made
lengthy
buckets.
defenders.
Watch the Rockets next time you see them, CJ, but like Katie will make a layup, bam, outlet, and nobody's down there. Just nobody's fucking down there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But yeah, I mean, the Rockets have been struggling. I think their net rating kind of speaks to that, right? With that minus 1.0. But Houston ranks 4th in the NBA in offensive rating this season, right? Scoring 118.5 points per 100. Like I said, number 1 team in the league in second chance points. That'll probably change. The Spurs rank 3rd in the NBA this season in defensive rating, allowing just 111.5 points per 100. So, you know, I don't know. It'll be more of a defensive battle. This game is like, I think it has the makings to be the best of the night. I'm going to take the Spurs, bro. I feel like they have a little bit better of continuity at the moment, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like Wemby will make an impact. And if he can be more of a paint presence, at times Wemby likes to shoot jump shots, CJ.
Yeah.
But if he can go down in the paint, do the pick and roll with Castle. If Castle and Dylan Harper can get it going from the line, I don't think they've been shooting well over the last 5. I think it's sub 40% from 3 and 2, both of those guys. But if they can improve their free throw rate, helps them out with the shooting struggles, I think they got it, man. I'm predicting like a 112, 104 Spurs. I think it'll be a defensive game. KD will probably put up 25, 30, you know, Alp as well. But who else? You know, Reed Shepherd has been struggling at times, and it's just the defense for me. You know, Amen Thompson, outside of Amen and Tari Eason, is kind of like there's a lot left to be desired, bro. When you start peeling back the layers on the Rockets.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with the Spurs too, bro. You know, I've watched the Rockets play, you know, a couple games these past couple nights that they've been playing. My main thing that heading into the season, I think we talked about it too, you know, not having that, you know, main facilitator, that point guard to run the offense is making a huge difference. And especially for KD, you know, he's able to, you know, initiate the offense and being that main facilitator, but he just benefits more when he's not having to do that.
Right.
And not having Fred there is making such a hole for them to kind of fill in to run the offense and, you know, clutch moment time. Like, of course it's going to go to KD, but just kind of initiating it, you know, because, you know, the Rockets, you know,
getting to the spot,
they just kind of know, or whenever you go against the Rockets, you know that the ball's going to go to KD. So, just gotta go with the team that is just more complete. Like you said, a lot of continuity, those young, you know, athletic guards being able to get to the rim is going to make a huge difference. Not having Steven Adams, you know, that's a huge blow for them. You know, like you said, offensively being, you know, they were the best offensive rebounding team, second leading the league in second chance points. You know, it's going to make a difference. You know, obviously Wemby's going to be down there. And I think the guards, like you said, you know, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper haven't been shooting the greatest, but once they kind of turn that around, it's going to be, you know, they're going to end up where they've been this entire season, you know, second to fourth range. I think that's kind of where I see them, you know, landing. But I'm going with the Spurs, bro. You know, I like the Rockets, what they can do with KD, but just like you said, who else? You know, Amen has been doing good on the defensive side. It's just kind of when is he going to take that leap offensively? You know, we were kind of expecting it this past year, but haven't really seen it. But you know, it's just,
you know, like you're saying, it's gone up 3 points, right? Like he's slowly getting better, but for like how we talk about him, right? Yeah, bro. Yeah, like, being more in shooting
more. Yeah, it's just because he's able to get to the rim at ease.
Yeah. For sure. Like you're saying, like we know he can get 9 layups, you know, score 20 points, but we need the 3 balls, and that'll come, especially from him. But yeah, man, like that's the game of the night for me. I'm excited to get back to that one. And yeah, bro, I don't know what Pelicans beat, or they lost to the Thunder last night. You know, we can run through that for like a couple minutes, and we'll get into our Mount Rushmore. But we're almost at the end here.
Yeah, I was about to say Thunder played the Pels last night. It was a really good game, honestly. One of the
Yeah,
games
competitive.
where
Jeremiah Fierce fight boy.
was surprised that it was as close as that too, ending the night
I'm just
off and
trolling. Yeah, I'm just
getting
trolling.
it popping. But yeah, bro, this is one of
Respect.
the closest games that we've had against the Pelicans in a long time. I think
Yeah.
just offensively, first quarter, low scoring game. The Pelicans scored 14, we scored 17. Just wasn't able to really get it going. Shea started off pretty slow. It's been kind of one of those games for us where, like I told y'all, if we're, hitting 30+% from 3-point, then the game will be
From three,
a little
yeah.
more, from the three. The game will be a little more out of reach. This game, we actually shot decent from the three, and it was close. So I think it kind of goes to show just what the Pelicans got, going on. Obviously not the greatest team right now, but they have the abilities, they have the players to play physical, play good defense. Herb Jones, obviously Zion,
Oh
whenever
man.
he's healthy, he had a great game today.
Hey,
8
he
for
looks good
11.
right now.
Dude, and I think that's something that we always say though, and it's something that
Yeah,
sucks as a Zion,
yeah. Right.
as a fan. I've
Right.
seen him in high
All
school,
right.
the hype coming up. Like we know he's a
Right.
good player, bro, but
For sure.
he's able to
And
do
it's
what
sad.
he does. But yeah, bro, it
Just
was
don't know how long we're gonna get it.
super frustrating just seeing the offense getting stuck in mud so much. Shea wasn't really able to get it going. Obviously, he still was able to score 29, but didn't shoot the greatest. 8 for 22. Was able to get to the free throw line a lot. So, that'll be a topic of conversation for people that push that agenda. But shout out to Isaiah Joe. We haven't had AJ
I
Mitchell
was gonna say I Joe.
these past
Yep.
couple games. He's been injured. And I think we were, prior to this game, I think we were like 0-4 in games that AJ Mitchell doesn't play. So, fun fact, I think we ended up getting this dub. So, we're 1-4 now. But I think kind of just goes to show the type of player, how important he's became to our roster. Whenever we have Isaiah Joe coming off the bench and, hitting 5 threes, I think it's easier for our offense to get it going, and he's really been our only player to be consistent from the three. So shout out to him. I think that's the one, knockdown shooter that we have on our team that I am completely fine with him shooting. But yeah, just what he was able to do. We're down so many men, bro. We talked about it last time. Nothing's really changed. Usman James getting a lot of run now. He's such an interesting player to me, bro. I feel like he has moments where I'm like, why does he not get enough playing time? And then he does something, and I'm like, okay, that's why he doesn't get enough playing time. You know what I mean? He's one of those players. He's young, but we have, we are already playing our rookie that we drafted, Barnsheimer. If we had Sorber in, he would be playing. Topic, if he was here, we'd be playing. So, just the fact that they're able to get this run and actually play meaningful minutes, shout out to that. I think it kind of, like I always like to say, next man up. And that's what it's having to be for us. It sucks. Chet had a great game. I think he had 5 blocks, bro. And I think when he's able to just alter the shots at the rim,
He's been awesome.
I think, that's why I think we actually got it. Defensive player of the month, and then we got player of the month. So shout out to that. Thunder running stuff for the month of would it be December, right?
December.
Yeah. So shout out to the boys. Chet, bro. I think with him,
Didn't know that.
I was about to say I it's just seeing how much he changes the game. I feel like there's some moments in the game where I'm like, damn, why is Chet doing that? And then he ends up like hitting a fadeaway or just like bodying and getting to the rim. And I'm like,
doing something. You're like, whoa, bro.
Like, why doesn't he do that all the time, bro? But he's been incredible. But I just want to shout out to, all the bench players that are able to, step up. I think, we have the best bench in the league, right? Obviously, that's why we dominate so many games. And, Shea wasn't able to, or didn't have to play the fourth quarters and whatnot. But the fact that we're, I talked about it last time, and I'm going to talk about it again. We're to like our 15th man, 14th man of our roster. We're having to play our two-way players right now. And I think, it kind of just goes to show, like the mentality of the roster, I feel like whenever you go out there, Shea's kind of leading the charge. They kind of earn the mentality of, man, we could beat anybody. So shout out to the boys, bro. Obviously was a hard fought win last night. I think the offense just kind of got stuck in mud to start it off, and it was a little bit hard to get it going. But third quarter came out. I feel like that's when we kind of flip it around, and Shea kind of started taking over. But fourth quarter ended up being a tightly contested one, but they started to get it a little bit closer. Zion had a great game. Sadiq Bey was started knocking down his threes, but it's just one of those. Think we're just a better team, and we should have beat them. We should have beat them, but wish it was a little more, but can't win them all, bro. And at this point for us, like we've been talking about it. It's that time of season. People are just kind of getting ready for All-Star break, getting ready for little break in their season. So I kind of see it. The more that you talked about it last time, I see it a lot now. So just ready to get these games over with to get into the All-Star week and just finish strong, bro. Go into the All-Star break on good momentum, so we could get the second half of the season kicked off right.
The juice is flowing.
Get the playoffs going, brother. So
dude,
that's
I like that. And
my little update.
Yeah, dude. The Pelicans also, I think, have been playing better. Like they're no longer like the laughing stock of the NBA. So I did want to throw that in there.
Yep.
Like they got some pretty solid guys. My team though, we played 2 nights ago, bro. Bulls. 118, 129. This was a banger. Shot 56% in this game, bro. 48% from deep. Luka Doncic had 46 points. Starting off this one though, like it was pretty tightly contested. To be honest, I think it was. What was it, 35-31 after one quarter? Saw a lot of great things from Kobe White. Just being able to control the game offensively, I wanted to give him his props because I know we're not the best defensive team, but I think I said it, when we were going through the Bulls preview, but like they've just grown a lot as a team in totality. The thing that I loved from our squad though, bro, everybody touched the ball and everybody scored. DeAndre Ayton only played 22 minutes in this game, didn't play a ton, but Jackson Hayes showed up. And if that means sometimes DA's got to take a step back for Jackson Hayes to be that. He had an East Band game. Did you see it?
I did. The A's game. Hey, between the legs. Yeah, I did see that.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That don't happen often. So that turned me up, bro, because that means he's playing with joy. And that was kind of what I was talking to you about, like just playing free, bro. Seeing them having fun out there. And I think we scored 35 and then 34 points in the second quarter. So like offensively, we were just flowing from the jump. Luka just decided to hit a bunch of threes today. Had a moment in the second quarter where he hit a three and came down, hit another one, and they called a timeout. And he was really feeling himself because if you guys don't know, he's shooting sub 35% on the year. Bro, just an amazing overall game. I'm very proud with the way that we played on offense. In the third quarter, though, we did give up 33 points. It was something that I wanted to bring up to you. I think just the paint touches and the effort. At times, I don't see the want to on the defensive side of the ball, and that's from outside of people named Marcus Smart, Jerry Vanderbilt. Everybody else has question marks surrounding that. I think, it's interesting to see JJ and him call the timeouts to get some sort of momentum. I think Rui put up 23 in this one. LeBron also added 23. So we had the offense completely flowing. But for me, I just wanted to see the defense. And, bro, to be honest with you, I don't think we should give up 118 points to the Bulls.
No.
I think we're a better defensive team than that. But when Kobe White and Buzelis and Vucevic and everybody's contributing, I want to say even Ayo Dosunmu had 20 points, and Giddey had 20 points off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, that just can't happen if we're going to become that upper echelon, like where the Thunder are at. Like, we have to get our defense cleaned up for that to be the case. And I wanted to talk about the Cavs game. I didn't watch it, but, bro, you guys see, there's still no defense.
Yeah.
And we only what if we don't make the shots, which is what happened tonight?
Mm-hmm.
And we score 99 points, and we're making a fool of ourselves on national television. So at this point in the season, kind of to finish off the point CJ was making, we just got to get to the All-Star break. And I wanted to ask you this question. What are 2 things that you want to see post All-Star break that you think would fix some of the Thunder's issues? For me, the Lakers have to clean up their defense, And they have to be able to string stops together. We can't play defense in spurts. All of our issues are defense.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like if we can just clean it up and be more connected as a squad. I don't know how JJ is going to do this because he's called us out for it in the post game. He's like, we just don't have people, like we just can't guard that well.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the case, but I think some of it's an effort thing, and then some of it's just not being in the right spot. It's definitely like an X's and O's thing. But I think the only like improvements I really want to see from my team are all defensively, bro. We're not shooting horrible. Like as a team, we're not shooting horrible from three. We have a top 10 offense in the league. We have our superstar who's in the MVP running. Like all of this stuff is like good stuff, but our record is just not as good as it can be because of our defense. And it's interesting because like the Thunder have been so perfect. It's probably hard to think of two things, but what are you thinking on that?
I mean, it would kind of just be like one would definitely be to just get healthy, bro. Like I feel like it's hard to say, but it's just like it's simple. Like
no more injury bug.
No more injuries. That's all I could ask for, and just I mean, it's something. It's a prayer, but just shoot above 30% from 3-point line. That's all I'm asking, bro. Like consistently for the rest of the season. Post All-Star break, shoot like 33%, 35%. That's all I'm asking for. And
there you go.
Limit the injuries for the rest of the year. If we could do that, then on the road to back to back.
There you go. Well, we gotta stop giving up paint touches and we gotta string stops together. Okay. And then yours obviously is shoot above 30% and then just get healthy. So there you guys go, man. That's the Lakers Thunder analysis for you guys. Let's get into the fun stuff, though. We've been starting on 1. Don't know why. I'm going to start on 4 today, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
But, I don't know why we were doing that.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know either. Oh, well.
Oh, number 1.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. We've had that flip. So we're still learning.
Yeah,
we don't have executive producers, so we're keeping ourselves on track here. But I'll start it off, man. It's small forwards for the viewers who have stayed. Thank you for staying so long. We appreciate you. You guys are getting the cake right now. But we've done Mount Rushmores the past couple episodes. We did our centers. We did our power forwards. Obviously, Mount Rushmore is the monument with the 4 president heads. Just so you guys are staying with us, but we're choosing 4 players from each position that we feel like are the best at that position. And I am starting with the number 4 small forward on my Mount Rushmore, Elgin Baylor, 11-time NBA All-Star, NBA All-Star Game co-MVP, 10-time All-NBA First Team, NBA Rookie of the Year, member of the 35th, 50th, and 75th anniversary team, and NBA Executive of the Year as management. And he may be the only player so far to have an award that is a management award. So shout out to Elgin Baylor. I have not seen that yet. I also wanted to say he holds the record for the most points in a Lakers playoff game, was 62. For me, it's about that longevity, what he was able to do in his time period. I know he was not an NBA champion, and that is the one thing people hold against him. However, I feel like he was the most offensively gifted out of the honorable mentions that I do have, which I'll be sharing later at the end. But out of those 3 guys, I was like, yeah, Laker legend, dropped 62 points in a playoff game, which I think is like top 3. Got to give it to him, man. I know there's another person who's in my honorable mention who, CJ's probably going to say, who you guys will probably think too. But, my Lakers blood, it bleeds.
For sure.
That's all I need to say, bro. It bleeds, bro. I like Elgin Baylor.
Facts.
Give me Elgin.
I get it, brother. My 4th one, it's someone different as well. So I got Dr. J, Julius Erving, NBA champion, 2-time ABA champion, 2-time ABA playoff MVP, NBA MVP, 3-time ABA MVP, 11-time NBA All-Star, 5-time ABA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 5-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 4-team All-NBA All-ABA First Team, All-ABA Second Team, ABA Slam Dunk Champ, member of the 35th, 50th, and 75th anniversary team, and 3-time ABA Scoring Champion. It's Dr. J, man. Yeah, it's I think I had to put him on here, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of the small forwards, you know, I was talking to ZD about it. We're in a weird time right now for the position because I feel like small forwards play 4. You know,
We
they
are.
play, some small forwards will play down to 2. It just kind of depends. It's kind of a weird position where it's forwards aren't as solidified as they used to be in like the 2000s, 2010s, 90s, and 80s and whatnot. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I had to put Dr. J on here for one, just for how he revolutionized the game. Obviously, we're saying ABA. That was, you know, there was 2 separate leagues at one point, and then they became together to be the NBA. So,
Yeah.
obviously, Dr. J was running the ABA. He kind of revolutionized the game, and you know, he was doing things that we had never seen before on the court. You know, obviously I didn't get to see him play, but I've seen clips. I've seen, you know, we've seen players mimic the moves, like, you know, you and I were talking about it, ZD, when KD went up and under and finger rolled it off the, you know, off the rim. You
Yeah.
know, Dr. J did that first, so it's like we're seeing stuff to get replicated 40 years later, and Dr. J was, you know, playing in the 70s, you know, so just what he was able to be, the fact that the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, mimicked his game after Dr. J. I think, you know, he gets a lot of love, but you know, I think what he did in the NBA per se isn't the craziest, but what he did for the game of basketball in general, kind of, you know, bringing it to, you know, ABA, you know, he was dominating, came to the NBA, ended up winning a chip with the 76ers.
Yeah, he did it twice.
You know, so he's a legend, bro. Just one of the greatest scorers that we had seen in the 70s, and, you know, two-way type of player, just dunking over people, kind of gliding through the air. Just, I had to put Dr. J on here, bro. You know,
I like it.
He was nicknamed the Doctor, and he's not even a doctor, bro. Come on, man.
Oh God, bro! One of the coldest nicknames of all time. Not just in NBA history of all time,
ever,
bro.
yeah.
They say that Dr. J, he gets you some cold, he serve you up cold.
Yeah.
That's what they say. You need some ice, go to Dr. J.
Facts.
Okay. Well, Dr. J, for sure, my man. Obviously, my guy, definitely in my honorable mentions, which I'll talk about later. But CJ, I think our lists are the same, so we're gonna bounce through this one.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you take 2 and 1, okay? So I'm gonna go from 3 down. You can kind of agree with me, and then I'll let you take 2 on.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to votes, okay? But my number 3 person, Larry Bird, Larry Legend, obviously, right?
Yeah, you get to talk about the Lakers, or you get to talk about the Celtics.
I was gonna say Celtics, yeah. I know, guys, but it's. I mean, he torched Magic. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Come on, man. 3-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP, 3-time NBA MVP. Come on. Not a lot of 3-time NBA MVPs in the world, trust me. 12-time NBA All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, 9-time All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team appearance as well, 3-time All-NBA defensive second team, by the way, NBA Rookie of the Year, All-NBA rookie team, back when they didn't do a first and second team for some reason, 3-time NBA three-point contest champion, which you know Larry Bird was a king of, and
killer.
He's a member of the 50th and 75th anniversary teams, and
of course,
yes, he's with the lucky guys, he's with the leprechauns and the racist people, but hey, man, that was in the 80s. We learned to live and forget. And I appreciate what he did to the game.
Yeah.
Larry Legend was super cool, man. Some of the stories that you hear, one of the best trash talkers in the entire game. I promise you, you can ask anybody from that era. Man, Larry Bird would say, I'm going to get 50 all left hand.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what? What? And he would do it. That's the thing. Like anything Larry Legend said was going to go, it went. And what made him so special with his shooting touch, right? I think guys like Steph Curry, Lillard, the reason they're able to become is because of guys like Larry Bird, you know, Dirk Nowitzki even. Yeah. But the way that Larry Bird was so creative, fading away over the backboard, like it was ooh-wee. And he can run the break too, man. One of the better, more underrated passers at his position. Just if you have the time, because me and CJ have spent the time, but if you have the time, just go look up 1985, 86 Larry Bird highlights. Because I think it'll kind of show you like peak Larry. And even I'll give you some more context, CJ, and you know this. Even 90s Larry, I think 2 back surgeries, still got 25. At 26, was just slow, couldn't even run,
Yeah.
and he still went out there and put up 30 on you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of goes to show how skilled he was and just how dangerous he was. And he's Indiana's hope, dude. Like you, there's you can go to courts out there and in parks. They got him all over there because he was poor as shit, had nothing going for him. Made it to the NBA, played Magic his entire career. Like he did it all, bro. Larry Bird is somebody I will support even as a major Lakers fan.
Yeah.
I gotta put him at my number 3 spot.
Yeah. I have him. Like you said, we have the same list up to this point. So everything you said, I agree, bro. I think the thing with Larry Bird is just, it's funny seeing him on like as if you just were to see him, you were like, oh, this guy's not a hooper. And then you watch highlights and he just is dogging everybody, bro. Like you said, just I think like you were saying, like the Lillards, like the shot creating type of people that obviously he was a forward, but he had like the handles of like a guard set at that time, and you had never seen that, and he's 6'8", 6'9", whatever it is, and just shooting over you, posting you up. He could give it to you anyway. So shout out to Larry Bird, bro. Larry legend. Was the reason why those Celtics teams were so great. 3-time MVP, like you said. That does not happen a lot. You won't see that a lot, and he's one of the few players that got that, and champion, and like you said, just all this stuff that he was able to accomplish even as his later on in his career, as his body was kind of breaking down on him, he was still able to be great and still be one of the greatest small forwards of all time.
You know what? See, the person coming up is the person I'm most excited for. I think everybody knows one. So.
Yeah. No, I agree, bro. So going into it, bro. Number 2, it's one of my guys, my favorite players of all time. Kevin Durant, man. 2-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP, NBA MVP, 15-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA first team, 5-time All-NBA second team, NBA Rookie of the Year, NBA All-Rookie first team, 4-time NBA scoring champ, and member of the 75th anniversary team. It's Slim Reaper, bro. It's easy money sniper, bro. It's
easy money sniper.
One of probably the greatest scorer I've ever seen, and just being able to see his career, what he's turned into. Obviously, I was a fan of him when he got drafted to the Supersonics, and then they turned into the Thunder, and seeing him turn into the NBA MVP, and just seeing his growth and what he was able to accomplish, and then obviously going to the Warriors. That's when I still appreciated KD, but at the time I did not fuck with him just because of the Thunder ties, and he kind of ruined that. Yeah, but you can't deny his greatness, bro. Obviously, what he's done for the game, he is I feel like once you become an archetype for future prospects and players getting scouted, you're saying this is the future KD. This is this and that.
Right.
That's how you know that you've changed the game. You have impacted it so much to where your legacy is going to be in the game regardless. People are going to be compared to you, and he has the scoring type of Kevin Durant, the body type of this, and he's 6'11", able to dribble like a guard. They're going to say that's KD. So got to give it to him, bro. He's the greatest scoring small forward I've seen. Obviously, y'all know who number 1 is, but just 3-level scorer, bro. Just being able to get to it and anywhere on the court, and the fact that he went to UT, saw his ascension, and I was rocking that KD jersey, the one that I have, the Supersonics one, and people were like, "Oh, who's that?" Now he's in the conversations of being the greatest scorer, greatest small forwards of all time. So shout out to KD, bro. I've been there since the beginning, and just seeing what his career has turned into, I think a lot of people don't appreciate it, and they're gonna it's gonna be sad whenever he steps away from the game, but he has a little while, so that won't be for a couple more years. But appreciate it while it's here, bro, because we're witnessing greatness. We're witnessing one of the greatest scorers to ever be in this league.
Yep, and like this is kind of the golden era for hoops, right? And I think Kevin Durant helped start that, right? We can go back
I agree.
2014, kind of like you said, the jelly and just the way that he played at that time period. We just haven't seen from a guy at his size because he was truly 7 foot 7'1". Larry Bird was 6'9", maybe 6'10" on a good day.
Right.
But like Kevin Durant was like truly like a center doing this, and I think his MVP year, bro. That's like really for me what took his career kind of over the top. Obviously, the whole thing with Golden State. It's funny you didn't bring it up, but like him going to Golden State, winning those championships. I think the Finals MVPs for me is kind of why I discount that because he won final. If you go and watch Game 5, remember the three that he hit?
Yeah, no, he was.
And Curry was like screaming. You know why Curry was screaming in his face? Because he knows he can win. Like he's gonna win because they have Kevin Durant.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I'll never forget. Like you remember that, right? Like LeBron didn't step up, and he just hit that three.
Bro, I remember that whole era of basketball, and it felt like it was just like, it's the Warriors versus Cavs every year. So yeah, bro.
Right.
I get it, and like I think that's the reason why he's such a great player because he was able to be on the same team with Steph, but have them still both shine and be the best versions of themselves. But when it came down to it, I think we know, he won those finals MVPs for a reason, so I think that's what separates him. But no, yeah, I agree, bro. That shit was
hands down
crazy.
Kevin Durant, you are the second best small forward of all time. And honestly,
take it away.
Like what if you're second best to this cat who's number one on the list? You guys already know. CJ, can I do the I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, do it, bro.
LeBron James is number one for both of us. And CJ, we could talk about his accolades. You guys kind of already know, right? I mean, 4-time NBA champion, 4-time NBA Finals MVP, 4-time MVP, which crazy. 13-time All-NBA first team and the only player to make an All-NBA team at age 40. 4-time All-NBA second team, 4-time All-NBA third team, 21-time NBA All-Star, Rookie of the Year, first team All-Rookie, member of the 75th anniversary team, only player in history to average more than 20 points per game at 40, first in total points in NBA history at 42,191, updated today. So I did this yesterday, but it's today and counting. That's what I was gonna say. Thank you, CJ. Why is that number still going up?
Because he's playing to this day.
It's LeBron James, and you guys already know, man. I can't. This is like the perfect way to wrap it up. Just longevity at its finest. You guys knew he's the chosen one. I think similar to like Wemby in a sense, like just is destined to be that. But for LeBron to become that and even more, I don't know, man. It's funny to even see him out there still like dealing with sciatica and getting up and dunking on. We saw him dunk all over Luke Cornett this year and did it on Lively last year. And he seems to enjoy doing that and showing that he's young. Just what he's done to push the game to a new height is really, really special. And every single player on this list, whether it's a Mount Rushmore player from the point guards all the way to the centers, they would say LeBron James is probably one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player. All of them would say that because of how much he's changed the game. Just so happens to be at the small forward position. He is basketball. Him and Jordan live sort of above the rest. And it was cool to see them I know you saw it. They did it at the All-Star game when they did the ceremony, but they had them by ranking of like where the players put you. So if you were like below on the 74th, like you weren't as great as I think Mike was one and LeBron was the second chair. So basically all the players that voted from the 75th, they put those guys on them too.
I mean, makes sense.
So it's like, duh. Yeah. They were talking and it sounded so cool. I thought it was so cool. I'm like, oh, they lined the chairs up by like their ranking. That makes sense.
The greatest player I've ever seen play. And
yeah, he is the greatest player I've ever seen.
I'll admit that. Like I talked to my dad about it.
20s though, bro.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah, we don't know shit, but I can tell you I know about LeBron. I can tell you that.
Oh God, I can
only talk about what I've seen, brother, and that's the greatest basketball player I've ever seen.
No, hands down, you heard it here on Three Man. And if you're not thinking that at this point, like, what are you doing? Like LeBron is clearly. I feel like we don't even need to talk about it.
We don't even need to talk. Right? Yeah,
Like,
I'm about to say. I feel like we talked about it too much. Everyone knows.
Yeah, 4,200 and counting, bro.
4,200.
42,000.
42,000.
4,200 is 4,000. 42,000 and counting. Yeah, bro. But yeah, man, what a way to wrap that up. I think we got shooting guards next, and that's another one where you guys know who's won, but just bear with us, bro. We gotta still get you guys through, and you guys would like to see the 4 threes because they won't always be the same. So I like doing it with you.
I'm excited for the point guards.
That's the one I'm most excited for.
Because I feel like that's
why we did it last.
I would say that's probably the one that's really up for debate.
That's why we did it last for that reason. I didn't want to put it first because
shooting guards are kind of a lot of them are. I would say they're kind of solidified, low key.
Well, one is right.
I feel like one is for majority of them.
People, yeah, but like you're saying, like that's for the audience still with us, bro. Like you guys are getting a cherry on top of the cake, because I feel like the Mount Rushmore has been the cake, but the point guard is the cherry, bro. Yeah, because that one is just gonna be a good combo. I appreciate your time, CJ.
Of course,
you wanted to add anything else to it, bro?
No, man. Just I appreciate you taking time of your days. Of course, just being able to chop it up with you, man. Just like you talk about it all the time, bro. Before we started recording and whatnot, just being able to do this, bro, and the fact that we're getting a following, we're doing it. Just trying to. Stick with it, bro. Right? I already know this is gonna be what
see the smile on my face.
We're gonna be able to really make this shit a career, bro. So I'm excited, and I appreciate your time as always, and just appreciate y'all for listening, man. Listening all the time and sticking with us. We're starting getting more popping playoffs. So ready, All-Star break. I'm excited, bro. I'm super excited for the rest of this year.
I've been kind of or not really. We just got caught up with the episodes, so I'll do the clips, and then we'll have like the short form. Y'all be able to watch long form. We'll be on lives, which you guys have seen this year. A lot of good stuff. I think we'll be live for the playoffs for sure. Maybe the All-Star game. Kind of just see, bro. But yeah, I think in Dynasty too. Actually, tell me your Dynasty before you get out of here.
Dynasty.
Yeah, just like. If you've locked in anything or not.
Yeah, I locked in a 42-point performance from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. OG Anunoby just got me 71 points tonight. That's a lock.
Hey, he's a weak winner, my guy. I wanted to tell the camera that I said it in the Toronto preview, but he's been the next best player, right? Like we know Brunson, but to get 70 fantasy points from OG Anunoby, if you would have told me that when you drafted him, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
But
so shout out to that.
He's awesome.
Julius Randle's having a great game. Kobe White, I didn't lock in his 40-point performance the other night against the Lakers, but he plays the Heat 3 times this week. So I think one of those are going to be a high.
He's going to pop
Literally,
off.
He plays them all three times in a row, like a baseball series.
That's dope. That's really cool.
It's crazy seeing it because I'm like, is this glitch? But nah, it's
is it glitch? But no, it's not. It's real.
They play really Thursday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So I'm like,
wow, the Heat versus the Bulls. There you go. They give it to you guys in a row. That's
amazing. Franz has been out. AJ has been out. So just kind of waiting for them to get healthy. Yeah. But I got a healthy roster for the most part.
On Denny.
No lock and Denny. I didn't have him starting because he was out. He was projected to be out the other night.
He was out, yeah.
And I didn't expect him to play. But he scored 34. He plays the Knicks tomorrow, so I think that'll be a good game for him. But yeah, no, that 72 point performance from OG, man, or 71. That probably won me the week right there.
Really help you, yeah, and. Yeah, so, I mean, Edgecombe went crazy last night. Again, had to lock it in, 45 points from him. He's been, to me, like my best player just because I've gotten way more out of what I expected. So he was awesome for me. And then Chet, 60 points. Like you said, 5 blocks.
Yeah.
I have a really good team. Flag is out right now. But I did have Dylan Brooks and Dante DiVincenzo give me 47 and 40 Like those are the types of player. Like Dylan Brooks is having an all-star season. I might keep him on my dynasty.
Yeah.
Man, just having a really good fun, time with this. Hopefully, whoever wins the swing, man. Like for people who've been following along, appreciate you. You always can leave a comment, and we can try to get you in the future.
Thanks.
Don't really know how that'll work. Somebody will probably have to leave, but we do have a full, league. So that was that was a W on our part. But yeah, man, just a really good way to go into All-Star break. Excited to chop it up about, I think we got, what is it, shooting guards and then point guards, right? So we still have two more Mount Rushmores that'll get us through about All-Star break, and then we'll see the game. Talk about that.
Talk about the game.
Do like a fun trivia thing. We have our mocks coming up. We'll do like 10 picks. Yeah, got a lot of stuff, bro. So
yeah,
just keep following it up. You try to do CJ's Corner, Zach Zone next week.
Yep.
Started off with a new segment. Got a lot of stuff, bro.
Yeah,
so.
No, I'm excited, bro. Just the evolution of everything. So, man, if y'all liked and enjoyed this episode of 3 Man Weave, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace. 3 Man.